Okay, so good evening, everybody. My name is Crystal Foster, and I'm not sure if you can actually see me now. My laptop's gone a bit funny, but so I'll carry on. My name's Crystal. I'm a master seller with Direct Sellers, and I've been with the company since just before Christmas. However, I've been in the networking and direct selling industry now since 2000, when I was juggling a professional career and two small children, and it all just got too complicated. So I basically took a 5-year career break and never went back to work. So just before Christmas, I had a call from Paul. He sent me a message first and said, did I like wine? Which was a silly question because I'd got a glass in my hand. And I just went back and said, yes, why? And he immediately just came back and said, well, I'll give you a quick call. 2 minutes later, the phone rang and he told me that an opportunity was coming to the UK and that the product was wine. So with that, really, we hadn't seen anything at all, but bearing in mind the people who had contacted us, we jumped straight in. And then Christmas came along and children came home from university and we got stuck in properly again in January. And I think the first person joined my team on the 14th of January and the 28th of Feb, I got to Master Seller. So it took me about 6 weeks and people have been coming in since then and doing it in days, weeks and hours. So, you know, it's great to be able to get to the top of the marketing plan. So what is Direct Sellers? Well, we're a premium wine club and basically, essentially allow members to get their wine for free and discounted and have the ability to earn an additional income if they wish to. So you'll be aware of all the other wine clubs out there. There's certainly quite a lot over here in the UK, but generally they don't allow you to get your wine for free and they don't pay you for referring other members to the club. So with Direct Sellers, you can have both of those opportunities. And there are two different ways of joining us. So the first way is as a customer. And as customers, you can join at two different levels, either $49.95 a month, which gives you 2 bottles of wine, or it's $89.95 a month, which gives you 4 bottles of wine. And this wine comes from 2,000 small batch wineries from around the world. So Australia, Canada, California, South Africa, France, Italy, Spain, etc. Basically everywhere you'd expect some good wine to come from. So that's the customer option. As a business partner, you again have 2 options for joining us. So the first option is $249.95, where you'll receive 4 bottles of wine, 1 year's membership to the club, and a 20% discount on future wine orders that you may wish to place. So if you're having a party and you've had a wine that you particularly like, you can order more of it at a 20% discount. The annual membership to the club is worth $70, so you get that in that initial membership. The second way is to come in as an elite member, and for that it's $499.95 US dollars. You get 3 years membership to the club and you get 12 bottles of wine and a 40% discount on any future wine orders. So you're essentially getting 3 times the benefit for double the cost. I think at this point we need to make it really clear that the wine is not shipping to Canada at the moment. It's not shipping to the UK either, but we will be launching here very soon and in Canada within the next few months, but we don't have a date. So the company is shipping the wine, but it's staying in the US. So if you have contacts in the US, you can, or prospects even, you can forward the wine onto them until it launches in Canada. So we just need to make sure that that is really, really clear. So I think that's the sort of overview covered. Paul, shall I hand back to you?
You can do. I'm a little bit more awake now.
Lucky you.
Yeah, so my name's Paul Gillingham. I'm based near Gatwick Airport, which is about 30 minutes south from London in the UK. And I don't do this full time. I know Crystal said that this is her like full-time position or full-time profession that she does, but I don't do this full time. I run a gym. I run 4 or 5 boot camps a week. I'm getting married in 31 days, I think it is now. It's fast approaching. And we've literally had to redo our whole house. So time for me is precious, and I have not got a lot of time to do it. However, when someone approached me in December and asked me that same question that Crystal said, that and we haven't spoken for a couple of years. We was in a previous networking company, and that was to do with health and wellness. And when I got involved with that, there was already 3.5 million people involved, and I still managed to walk away from my full-time job back then within 12 months. So I met this lady in my previous company, and we hadn't spoken for, as I said, 1.5 years, 2 years, and she sent me the message, "Hi, how are you? What have you been up to?" And we started talking, and then she threw this complete curveball in, and she said to me, "Can I ask you a question? Do you drink wine?" And as Crystal said, exactly the same. I had a glass of wine in my hand, so I thought to myself, well, how did she know that I'm drinking wine? So I got up, I looked out the window, but I said to her, "Yeah, of course I do. Everyone drinks wine. Why? What are you talking about?" So she got on the phone and she told me about direct sellers. And from the conversation that we had there and then, I was in. I wanted to register. And she said to me, "You haven't seen any videos or anything yet?" I said, "I don't care," because a few years ago I had a vision or a thought, or I said to a few people when we was going through hard times, how easy would it be if there was a network marketing model that involved wine? Like, how big could that company be? Because everyone drinks it, there's no resistance, and people could make a hell of a lot of money from doing it. So from that thought I had a couple of years back, I said to her, I've got to do this. Send me the videos by all means, but get me registered first. So I got in, didn't really do too much of it because Christmas was fast approaching, and I like to just unwind over Christmas. It's busy 11.5 months of the year after that, so Christmas for me is nice. And then in January we started doing something. Now I didn't want to go hell for leather with it because I didn't know when the UK was going to launch. I knew that we wasn't getting product, and I didn't want to go all out there talking about this company where people would not get their wine. So as I said, I spoke to a few people, Crystal being one of them, and the conversation was so simple. It's, do you drink wine? Yes. Would you like to get it for free? Well, yeah, of course I would. How about getting paid for it? Yeah, of course. What are you talking about? And that's kind of been the question, and that's been the way that we've built this. Now, my initial aim was to get no more than 10 people ready for the UK launch, because that way we could go out and we could do it and we could run these wine parties and whatever else. But it's been an incredible ride. I mean, I hit the comp plan top of the comp plan in my first full month. I've now helped 5 other people do the same, Crystal being one of them. And I've now got an organisation of 200. And every day I wake up with an email telling me my organisation's growing, as does Crystal and as does hundreds of other people in there. And it's got such a powerful compensation plan in it, to the point that there's people coming out of retirement, 7-figure income earners coming out of retirement to partner up with direct sellers, because number one, the product is wine, and number two, the comp plan is the best in the world. And I say that because there's a 50% fast start bonus attached to this. So every single person that you personally enroll, you get 50% of what they pay to sign up with. So as Crystal mentioned, there's a first kit. It's $249.95. For every single person that signs up on that kit, you get $125 back. For every single person that signs up on the $499 kit, you get $250 back. Now, where this is even more powerful than it already is that you don't need to be on the $499 kit to receive the $499 commission. So what I mean by that is, I could sign Crystal up. I could be on a 249 kit myself. I could sign Crystal up on a 499 kit. I would still get $250 back. So it doesn't matter what kit you come in on, you will always get 50% of that fast start bonus. Now, another way to get paid, and I won't talk about all of them, this is the only 2 that I talk about on an opportunity call, but you can earn anywhere between 6 and 20% in your binary on your weaker leg. Now, this is a binary system which also pays you on uni level. So you're only building 2 teams, one on your left and one on your right. Now, once you've got 2 people in, you're what's known as dual team qualified. It means number 1, you've got your investment back, and it means number 2, you're qualified to get paid on all levels that we've got. Now, by getting 2 people in, you're qualified to get 6% off of your weaker leg every single week. So let's say that you two signed up. Lynn and Bonnie, you both signed up under Crystal. So one's on Crystal's left and one's on Crystal's right. So Crystal becomes dual team qualified. She's got that 6%. Now let's say over the next 6 months, Lynn goes out and builds a huge organisation, and her team volume for one particular week is 15,000. And let's say Bonnie goes out and builds a huge organisation, and her business on that particular week is 10,000. Because Crystal's brought in 2 personal people, every single week, if those figures are the same, she earns 6% of that 10,000. Okay? Now, for every person that you bring in thereafter, that 6% goes up by 2%. So 2 people is 6, 3 people is 8, 4 people is 10, and it goes all the way up to 20%. So if you know 9 people that like drinking wine, that like making money, that need more money, that have got networking experience, then you'll be a master seller in the company. You'll be at the top of the compensation plan, but you'll be entitled to 20% off of that weaker leg. So let's look at those figures again. 15,000 on the left, 10,000 on the right. You get 20% of the 10,000. That's weekly. So right now, and again, I don't say this to boast or to brag because you don't really care what I'm doing, but last week I didn't personally enroll anyone, but now residually, because of what's going on in the team and how the team's building, I'm earning between $500 and $600 a week just off residual income. And I've only been doing this for 3 months, and I'm only doing it part-time. Now, I worked out on Friday, I think it was, that if every single person in the organisation that we've built brought in just 1 person a month, now bearing in mind, Crystal brought in 9 in 6 weeks, and I've got a guy that brought in 9 in 6 days, but let's work out that if every single person brought in just 1 person each month between now and December, my organisation would be close to 100,000 people by the end of the year. Now, yes, it seems like a huge number, and yes, it is a huge number, but when you're working out how momentum's growing at the moment, I think we'll smash through that. But let's bring that back to what we was talking about just a minute ago with regards to the percentage of the weaker leg. Now, let's say that there's 55,000 in one leg and 45,000 in the other leg. And if you're a master seller, that's 20% of the 45,000 paid weekly. So this is where you can earn very, 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 very good money from a product that we don't need any educating in. So to start wrapping it up, I went out to Vegas 5 weeks ago for the official launch. The company's been around for 4 years, but it's only been a networking model since April of last year. So it's coming up to its first anniversary. They've officially launched in Vegas towards the end of February. So I went out there, and the reason I went out there is because I wanted to see what all the commotion about. They've got 4 founders, 4 guys that have all made multi-million dollars in their own conventional businesses. They've now partnered together to create direct sellers. They're debt-free and money is no issue whatsoever. On top of that, there's a guy called Kevin Thompson involved. Now, Kevin Thompson is arguably the world's #1 attorney for MLM. So anything to do with compliance, this is watertight. They've got a guy called Jerry Greenfield involved, who's a director of wine. He's been in the wine industry for over 30 years. What he doesn't know about wine is not worth asking. Now, he's attached this huge educational program to it. So for people out there that are into their wine majorly, any wine connoisseurs that you know, he does tutorials and video trainings and everything about wine. What wines are good, what wines are bad, how to differentiate a screw top from a bottle. There's loads of videos. You've then got a leadership team that is second to none. You know, again, there's a guy called Austin Zuloff in this. He come out of retirement. He owns 2 networking companies where he mentors network marketers, made multi-millions in the industry, doesn't need to work, but he's come out of retirement because number 1, the comp plan, and number 2, the product. Our upline is a guy called Jefferson Green out of Atlanta. Since November the 3rd and today, he's created a team of over 3,000 people, and over 106 of them have hit the top of the compensation plan. You put all that together and you throw in the product that's wine, you can start to see how powerful this is, and you can start to see how big this is going to become. Now, as Crystal said, we're not launched into the UK yet. We're probably about 4 to 6 weeks away. I think the Canadian market's around 6 months away. I know it's going to happen this year for sure, but I don't have a definitive date, and I know the guys don't, but I can 100% say it is going to be this year. So between now and launch, you've got the option. You've got 2 options. You can either watch and wait and see what goes on, or you can decide to get in and run and build with us. But as I said, my vision was 10 people before we launched. So I've now got close to 200. I think I'm a few shy of 200. So for me, this is the biggest opportunity that I've ever seen in my life. I believe it's going to be the fastest growing social movement of the year. Once this does launch over here, it's going to go hell for leather. So, you know, you look at this now, you 2 guys on the call now, you look at this and you take this on board and you come in and you get positioned, you've got a whole wave of people from the UK coming into your organisation, because we still only build 2 teams. It's, you know, it's frightening to think where this is going to go. So, Crystal, I'm going to throw it back over to you just to close out, and then, as I said, we'll get this recording out to you both, and then you can pass it on. But we'll look at times that suits everyone, basically, because I don't want people getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning for an opportunity call. We want it to work best for everyone. But as I said, they do US opportunity calls every single night that you guys can just dial into, that works on your time scale. But as I said, if we can fit one, if we can get an op call that's going to suit the majority of people, then we will do. Or if we need to do 2, i.e. West Coast, East Coast, do one at midnight our time and one at 6 o'clock our time to suit like your guys and your teams, then we can do that as well. So Crystal, I'll throw it back over to you to close out.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for joining us. I know the times are all a bit off for all of us, but I think between Paul and I, we've pretty much covered everything now. So if you could just get back to the person who introduced you. Obviously, Bonnie will speak later. Lynn, if you could get back to Maria, that would be great. And we'll get any questions answered. So I hope that we'll be seeing you again very soon. And that's it from us, I think, Paul.
Yeah, that's it. Brilliant. Bonnie, thanks for joining. Lynn,
thank you.
Thanks for joining. And hopefully we will look forward to working with you both very soon.
Bye-bye.